live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Thanks for joining us on 2 News Live. I'm Brian Schnee. It is Tuesday, May 23rd. Let me come out of the dark for you. There we are. You can see me. Let's go in depth tonight on a couple of different topics. I'm hoping to have our Paul Nelson here in a few minutes talking about some flooding situations in Lehi. If we can't get to him, I will show you hopefully a live traffic camera from Lehi with the downpour coming down right now. Also taking a deeper look at what's going on in parts of Kane County as it pertains to flash flooding, taking lives in slot canyons. Also had a very long conversation today with Congressman Blake Moore. That will come up in just a few minutes. But let's get to your headlines. Police in Spanish Fork are investigating after a 2-year-old child was shot in the head at a daycare facility. The daycare owner says it came from the other side of a fence where a group of children, he believes, were playing. A lockout at Kearns High School is now lifted, and 2 students are in custody after a student reportedly had a gun in the parking lot there at the school. While Unified Police were searching for the students, they say the one who had the gun came back without the weapon. A Salt Lake City man's terrifying experience after a rock smashed through his windshield on the freeway. It happened at the I-215 area near the mouth of Parley's Canyon, not far from the Grandeur Peak trailhead. There's an overpass in that area he's concerned about. Finally, a Utah family reminding drivers to take a second to spot the tot. This program was created by Intermountain Primary Children's Hospital and reminds drivers to look out for children and be aware of your surroundings. As we go in depth tonight, you can always get in touch with us throughout the show. Use the hashtag 2NewsLive to join the conversation. You can always find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. There are many ways you can join us each day and weigh in with your thoughts.
Once you get in there, if the storm hits, there's just nowhere for you to go.
2 hikers found deceased along the Utah-Arizona border over the last few days. This now makes 4 fatalities in the Buckskin Gulch area in the last few months. This mission spanned a few days, and the Kane County Sheriff's Office believes this is once again flash flooding related. Let's give you a better look at where this all happened. We'll take a closer look here on Sunday. Now, 1 hiker was found deceased right in this area below the line. That's about a half-mile south of the junction of the Paria River and the Buckskin Gulch. Now, the other hiker was found on the north side of this line Monday night in Buckskin Gulch, just before the confluence with the Paria River. So those 2 meet right before the state line. This all began Sunday when a search and rescue team member who's also a backcountry guide got a message from a group hiking in this canyon area that they came across a body. The sheriff's office actually that borders Utah here, Coconino County in Arizona, along with the Utah Department of Public Safety Aero Bureau out of St. George, recovered the first body. Now on Monday morning, Kane County Dispatch got a call from some concerned family members from Ohio after not hearing from their loved ones who had gone out hiking in this area. They hadn't heard from them since Saturday afternoon. Now the 2 men were planning to hike into Wire Pass and the Buckskin Gulch for about 5 miles, but the family hadn't heard from them.
These guys are just out for a little break and taking a hike and got caught by a flash flood is the best we can assume. I guess we'll never 100% know, but that's what all the evidence is pointing towards. They just got surprised by this. Got caught in it and swept 7 to 10 miles down this canyon in this flash flood.
You've been covering this area for a long time in your line of work. Is there anything else that can be done with appropriate signage, messaging, anything else that can be done to try and prevent a situation like this from happening? Or is it just inevitable?
I think it's just kind of a culmination of a lot of things that happen all together, and people just get surprised. There are signs out there. I mean, from the last event, one of my search and rescue people had actually snapped a picture of a big 5x5 sign or whatever it's out there that says, potential for flash flooding and the dangers. So the signage is there. Those people who are going to actually do the full-blown hike and hike through this canyon all the way to Reeves Ferry or even back to White House. I mean, when they get the permits, I think there's education that they get from the BLM. Most of these people, I mean, there's tons of information about these hikes online from all the other people that have done them. And so people are getting on, typically they're researching that. The people tell them where the springs are at, where the water's at, what to watch for, how to watch for the storms. So I think they're getting the information, but just once you get in there, if the storm hits, there's just nowhere for you to go.
But is there an overarching sort of message you want to get out to people if they're going to come visit, especially the Buckskin, which has been proven to be unkind this year, to say the least?
Yeah. Just the same thing we keep putting out. Make sure you do all your research. Even then, again, that's not 100%. Just you got to be prepared, watching the sky, checking the weather, make sure you got the proper gear. Know where the exits are, where some safe points might be, all of those kind of things. But even in the best circumstances, sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. But yeah, keep being diligent about doing your research, doing things right, having the right gear. That's the best thing you can do to try to protect yourself and have a good, safe trip.
I know you've been with Kane County almost 2 decades, and we talked about it briefly, but have you ever seen this sort of frequency with the Buckskin, claiming lives?
No, in my time frame, no. This is the first time we've had anything like this. Like I say, we're going into these canyons to help people with broken ankles, or they're falling, tripped, or injuries more than anything. We have had a couple of deaths, but they typically haven't been flooding deaths like this. They've been, like say, somebody who's actually fallen in from the top, hiking up on top and fallen in, and killed that way. But as far as flooding deaths like these, no, this is the first time that I remember stuff like this. So it's just weird. We've had all of a sudden 4 of them this year alone.
Thanks to the folks at the DPS Aero Bureau for sharing that video with us this afternoon. The families of Gary York and John Walter shared these photos with us, both of these two from Ohio. Looks like right behind them, the Horseshoe Bend area in Page. Kane County Sheriff's Office said in a statement this morning, again, we have witnessed the relentless power and danger of flash flooding in Kane County's slot canyons. 2 News has you covered this spring as our risk for flooding continues. To learn more about that story, we have a number of them posted on our website right now, KUTV.com. The initial story from last night, also our follow-up from today. If you download, scan with your QR code here, you can get the 2 News app for breaking news alerts on issues around the state. You can always find our past stories on ways you and your family can protect your property and your home when it comes to flooding. We are far from done. Hey, we were hoping to have Paul Nelson. Not sure where he went, but I knew he was in Lehi. So let's take a look here where it's coming down. I think you want to dodge the raindrops. I-15, it's moving. Depending on where you are on I-15, it may or may not be moving. So maybe you want to check out the app or just take a quick look before you hit the road tonight for the evening commute. We're happy to have meteorologist Chase Thomason here with us. Is a day where storms are moving through the evening hours. We've been talking about this, looking at your 7-day. Hey, there's that chance almost every day right now in parts of northern Utah for those potentially strong afternoon thunderstorms to move in.
Yeah, we've been tracking those storms during 2 News at 4 and 5 o'clock, and now we're starting to see them really roll off the mountains and impact the Wasatch Front, including the Lehi area. This is a live look from Bluffdale. You're going to have some road spray and some wet roads for your evening commute as these storms roll in. So let's get right to radar as we are tracking some pretty good thunderstorms. So we're seeing some lightning, dangerous lightning. So if you have soccer practice right now, get in your car. It's not safe to be outdoors with these lightning strikes and heavy rain. Right now, I'm not seeing any hailstones, but earlier we were tracking some small hail with some of this activity, mainly heavy rainfall near the I-15 corridor from Utah County into southern Salt Lake County, and everything is quickly racing towards the northeast. So the Wasatch back, you are next. Heber and Park City, we got some heavy rain coming for you. We also have some heavy rain now pushing into portions of the Cottonwood Canyons, Salt Lake County, and even the northern end of the Wasatch Front. You'll notice, though, not as much lightning with this batch of mainly light to moderate rain for Weber and Davis County, but everyone's starting to see some raindrops. Good news, turn off your sprinklers. This is some free water. We have more rain in the mountains of far northern Utah. Cache Valley, we're quiet, but we do have some heavy rainfall and even some hail up Logan Canyon, but more storms to your southwest that could be filling in throughout the evening. So good chunk of northern Utah seeing rain for the next hour or two. We also have some scattered storms across Castle Country, a little bit of lightning towards Price, Highway 6 through Spanish Fort Canyon. We got some rain and some isolated showers across the southern end of the Uinta Basin. Central and southern Utah, it's definitely not as active. We've had some drier air push into the south. So each afternoon we've had some heavy rain at those national parks, but not really today. Still some isolated showers and storms north of Capitol Reef, towards Hanksville and north of Escalante, but most of the I-15 corridor south of the I-70 junction is dry. Here's the setup. We got a cold front, but it's stalled, so it's a stationary front hanging out to our west. It's not going to be moving very much over the next few days, so our winds are out of the southwest, and near that frontal boundary is where we have the best chance for those thunderstorms, and that is northern Utah and not southern Utah for the rest of the week and maybe even into the holiday weekend. So as we go through Future Track, this is our high resolution model. Does a really good job with some of these summer-like thunderstorms that go up over the mountains and drift into the valleys. And you can see at 8 o'clock, we still have a few of those scattered showers and storms. So maybe you're going to Red Butte for the concert. Bring your poncho just in case, but hopefully you'll be drying out here in the next hour or two. By midnight, though, there is a chance for a couple lingering showers. And then by tomorrow morning, we are quiet. During the afternoon, here we go again, more of those scattered showers and thunderstorms. Not everyone seeing rain, but there's a chance by about 30 to 40%. Temperatures tomorrow, lots of 70s and low 80s in northern and central Utah. St. George, you'll be in the 90s. Those storm chances near 40% through Friday. They do drop off a little over the weekend. If you have those outdoor plans, you'll be just fine during the morning, but in the afternoon, you got to pay attention to the weather. Download that KUTV News app. It's a good one. The weather app will be tracking those storms for you. St. George is dry in the low 90s. Northern Utah, we have those storm chances through Monday, low 80s for highs. That's still about 5 degrees above normal. Overnight lows in the upper 50s and low 60s.
My big takeaway from all of this, aside from all of the precip, who's at Red Butte Gardens?
I'm not sure, but someone did tweet me asking if they're going to have rain for the concert.
We're going to have to look at the calendar here because they've
got to be one of the first ones, though.
Right, because they have a jam-packed next couple of months.
That's right.
I figured you might be going because you're a concert goer.
Nope, so I'll be here.
I should have checked. All right, thank you, Chase. Remember, as you mentioned, download our 2 News weather app. It is a great resource to know about changes in your neighborhood. It is a good way to know about what is headed your way. The blue dot on your screen there on the app, you could see kind of that pinpoint location of where you are, supposedly, and where those storms could move in. So the app is free to download, very easy to use. So check out the 2 News weather app today. Let's go in depth now on the congressional level. A lot happening in Washington, D.C. as of late. Our Utah representatives have been staying quite busy. Had the chance to catch up with Congressman Blake Moore earlier today. We spoke about issues that impact really everyone across the country right now, including Utahns.
And what's the latest from Washington and what is being done in the debt ceiling conversation?
Yes, you're right. It is a very big thing. And what's being done is folks are talking. Right. And my biggest frustration with this is that we've wanted this for several months. When it all of a sudden became June 1st, when Secretary Yellen communicated it to June 1st, all of a sudden the White House was willing to meet that next week. So we saw for several months, what you saw as an initial meeting with Speaker McCarthy and President Biden. And then you saw this drought of like 90 plus days or something. And we can't have that. We knew it was looming, and we've got to be willing to engage in dialogue.
What is happening right now to address those ongoing conversations at our border and Title 42 as a whole, immigration, and the situation at the southern border specifically?
Right. There's so much going on, and it's all tragic. And you've seen so much mayhem. You've seen individuals that are suffocated in the back of vans and trucks. I was down at the border last year, a day or two after one of the National Guardsmen went out to rescue somebody that was crossing illegally into the river, and he himself drowned, trying to save someone else's life. We have incentivized cartel activity. By taking away the migrant protection protocols, we are incentivizing cartels to lie to these individuals that want to come to the United States for the right reasons. They want to come and work here. They want to live the American, they want to be a part of here. Everybody agrees on that. But if you enable the cartels to dupe these people into coming and saying, it's all going to be good if I just get you across the border, so give me $5,000. They are a billions and billions of dollar organization run by drug cartels. Then you add in fentanyl. Fentanyl is not just some talking point. We're seeing enormous rates of people dying because of fentanyl. They were unwittingly using it. They didn't know what it was. It's been weaponized to get into our system. It's coming through the border. It's also coming through ports. We have got to put a clamp on this, but the majority of this is coming through the border. So it is a problem. So we have to address this. Migrant protection protocols, aka the Remain in Mexico policy, that alone would do more to deter border cartel activity on the border than anything. You have to strengthen with physical borders. You have to increase presence with agent presence, with drone technology, everything that we can do to strengthen the border. And we have to get to a point where we are embracing more legal immigration with respect to, revamping some of the visa systems and things like that.
Flooding has been a very real concern, top to bottom state of Utah, specifically in your district. There have been issues since kind of the beginning of when the runoff began. Having people come visit you, talking to people in your district, what else can be done with flooding? What are you hearing from people? It's kind of the same statewide, but what is coming to your office?
Yeah, so I work closely with the Weber County, the Weber Basin Conservancy group, amazing group of people that are on top of things all the time. And, they said drought's bad, but wait till it starts flooding. We have to take it one step back and say, we have been hoping and praying and needing as much rain and snow as we got. I didn't understand before I came to Congress how unique Utah was in something called, it's called the Good Neighbor Authority. What it ultimately does is it allows for our state leaders to interact with our federal participants, Forest Service, BLM. It allows for us to operate in a less bureaucratic fashion. And these agreements that we sign, and that's what the bill is trying to do, is to create it more to lower the burden on the bureaucratic burden on entering into these stewardship agreements. Utah does them really well. We are an example for the rest of the country, and it will enable more states to engage in these agreements and encourage them to do it and highlight for them and how to go about doing it. So that's the key piece of the bill. It also helps us leverage technology to truly target if you have a Forest Service, there is like 10% of that forest that could produce 90% of the risk at a catastrophic wildfire. And it helps us target that area and then how to go about some of the management associated with it. It's a bipartisan bill. We've got a good co-sponsor on it. Utah, yes, we always have to be vigilant, and I think we do a good job at communicating that. But the worst part of our fire seasons is typically breathing in the smoke from California and Oregon. And this is something that we want to encourage our western states to enter into these agreements and see some of the positive effects that we've had at the state of Utah.
So at the end of our conversation, I asked the congressman if he'd like to share anything else with Utahns. He brought up Memorial Day. Today, he joined others to visit the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington National Cemetery. He would like to remind others to take some time this weekend to reflect on all of those who have served and sacrificed before us. That'll do it for us here on a Tuesday. Thanks for watching 2 News Live. We'll be here back again tomorrow. Hope to have you back here with us for another edition of 2 News Live. Remember, if you missed anything, all of these are always archiving on our YouTube page, also streaming live on our Facebook page as well. So be sure to check it out if you'd like to share something or hear it all again. It's all there for you. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Drive safe if you're navigating the weather. We'll see you again tomorrow.